Welcome back, everybody. Going into map 2 now here in the CEVO playoffs. This is CEVO Main, Europe. VexedGaming with a dominant map 1 performance against Infused here in the lower bracket, which of course means loser goes home, winner moves on. I'm Helium alongside Metuz. How's it going?
Not bad, other than the fact it's not cash, it's cobblestone, so I feel like a bit of a moron, but it's nothing new.
Oh, Pete's.
Well, there you go. He's keeping up the form, man. He was one of the top players on Mirage as well, so those two frags massive for Vex to try and stop this push onto the B side. Looks like Terrace are still going to be able to make their way through, but Fer lands another shot. Crucial is there, however, and the bomb will now be getting planted on the right-hand side of the site. So really now the Vex need to come in together. They don't have a defuse kit right now or flashes to get back onto this one. So it's going to have to be raw fragging power. And there's the first one. Hyper lands onto Windansky. Crucial now on the site. If they push him at the same time, he should still be a dead man, but somehow is still alive. 70% of his HP remaining. Just watching the right-hand side. It's the left-hand side where the damage is coming in. Lands the headshot. Last player now on 7 HP. That's going to be Roland. And surely he can't do it. Crucial lands the second kill, picks up his 4-man, and gives Infused the lead again. But we have already seen this happen on Mirage.
XD. I think Neil M summed that one up pretty well. Yeah, he had what? He had a nice shot when he peeked out on the, I think it was either over the SWAT, or I guess, what is it, GIGN van. He actually gooshed Windansky earlier, then kills the one player in sight, so Windansky was still pretty low. Or sorry, I'm getting this backwards. Whoever was left on Vex was still very, very low. So nice shooting from Crucial with the Glock. I think it has a lot of bullets. Here's Pete's. Got 2 on the pistol round. Rowland, though, gonna get 2. And maybe a third. He goes for the knife, but Crucial turning around faster than anyone has ever turned in their life to avoid being knifed in the back. Have you ever seen anyone turn around that fast, Metuz?
I haven't. Definitely not. Hyper is still in with a chance of this round. He's gone again, looking for the P250.
Oh,
lands it onto Windansky. That is a horror story for Infused. They win the pistol, get instantly retaliated.
And I've got deja vu.
Yeah, absolutely. It is rough, to say the least. And Infused, realizing the economy from Vex not great. They did lose 4 players in that round with Kevlar purchases. They go for the Tech 9 armor. They can still turn this around, but Vex get away with murder in that last round.
It was pretty sick. What they had, like 2 people in the mid room, and then Rowland came through from drop, I think, with a flash.
I think it was, yeah.
Hyper finished it off with a P250 on rotation. So pretty much heroics in the first round by Crucial, followed by the heroics of VexedGaming, has put Infused in a pretty awkward spot. Although they do just decide to rush B with Tech 9 armor and limited utility. Coming out of drop, though, they get sprayed down by Furlan, who posted up the rock, and Neil M left in KFC, and he will be taken out.
And a clean sweep for Vex as well. That is going to definitely sting Infused. Because as I said, Infused wanted to buy that round, force it up, push the envelope, and try and break the economy of Vex. The fact that they keep all 5 weapons alive allows them to keep these SMGs in play, because they know Infused don't have Kevlar, and this is their way of just farming up the money now. So it's looking pretty poor for Infused, almost worst case scenario for them, winning the pistol, then losing the subsequent 2 next rounds with a force.
Either I'm really lagging to this GoTV relay, or Zed something was going on. He was like teleporting around for me. But no pause coming in, and he's only got 15 ping, so I'm assuming it's on my end. Grubby, meanwhile, with the UMP, will take down Crucial. And now Red Snake gonna... Oh, he tries to pre-fire the same exact spot, thinking Grubby would just be sitting there again. And then he gets taken down by Grubby, who is $1,200 richer. Rowland earning 600 and maybe doubling that. Yes, he does. He finds Neil M holding out in the cheeky corner there, and Windansky now with the Glock. Toggling might have been heard by Rowland, who has become an awkward engagement. Will just run away, not wanting to lose that armor.
Another clean sweep for Vex, though. So you can already see what that means to their bank balance. 10k on Hyper, a few players on 5k plus as well are looking very comfortable indeed. Wouldn't surprise me if Grubby just keeps that UMP. He's got pretty decent armor pen. And although all Infused players have the head armor, it does mean they've got a lack of grenades right now. They've got 4 smokes, which isn't too shabby on Cobblestone, but no mollies to back that up. Only a couple of flashbangs, just a couple of HEs as well. So Vexed in pole position right now. But that was a terrible pun if I meant to land that one, wasn't it? Seeing as they're Polish. I didn't, however, so it's all good.
Yo, that was That's top kek material right there. That was good.
A
Lamau.
Lamaunaise.
Ooh, I've never heard that one.
So that's the UMP for an assault rifle. That's a decent trade for Vexed, actually.
The UMP owns.
It's not a terrible gun. It's definitely true, but trading it for an AK-47, definitely worth.
I don't know if this is true and the damage, but honestly, like, minus hitting headshots, like, against armor, it's pretty much just as good as the M4. It's just like, will the AK one-shot you before you kill the person with the AK?
Yeah, that's why Grubby kept it in a nutshell and used it at close range to try and play to the weapon's advantages. As we've been speaking of, Pete does land another shot, and this leaves Zed and Red Snake left, both of which are looking to maneuver themselves onto the A side. That frag's going to definitely help them, but you can see the Vex instantly retaliating. And they still seem to think that the CT players could be coming through balcony. That's not the case. They're all coming up through mid together. Bomb has been planted, but Red Snake on the site is pretty much a dead man if a bullet lands on him, but he's still going to do the damage. It's all on Roland. He's got an AWP pierce. He's going to have to use his sidearm with the P250 instead. And he can't get anything done. Infused somehow get away with that round. That was, what, a 2 versus 4?
Yeah, it's a good thing no one was coming balcony because they completely missed that smoke. But that was pretty good for them to hold on. And 3-2 now. Omp coming out for Rallad. So Vexed having lost. Do get another buy-in. And Rallad, oh, that's not a good way to start the round. Neil M already taking a ton of damage, and Zed actually taking some friendly fire. Oh, he's down a little HP. I think he took 9 damage, and then I'm guessing maybe a nade or some bullets through the door took him down to 80, so. See what happens. Crucial will open it up with a kill onto Rallad. Pizza's going to smoke off like he's fallen back and then move forward onto the hay bale, so a nice little strat there trying to outthink his opponents, but his opponents will never see this, so they don't even have to think about it. Maybe Zed will. Zed moving in and is just completely blind. He's now taken out. Yeah, that was perfect. Sometimes that's what CS comes down to, is just timing. And again, here a flash coming in to allow Furlan to peek in, and a nade onto Wendancy, taking him down a bit. Look at this. Infused. These guys are bruised and trying to get into this B site.
Yeah, battered and bruised. Definitely battle-weary right now, and all 3 of them have to come through on platform alone. That flashbang destroys them, only means that Wendancy could peek. So almost single-file Counter-Strike now from Infused, and they are definitely going to be coming out second best here.
And on the flank.
And that's pretty much all she wrote. Yeah, Pete's straight through. Connector, round the back, Crucial gets fragged, and I was going to say that was a very important round for Infused as well, because VexedGaming were on the brink of an eco. If they lost that round, probably into eco territory. At least 3 players wouldn't be able to get full assault rifle with grenades, so that would have been a big round for Infused. They end up losing it, and now it's them that's on the eco instead.
Yeah, that'll be pretty rough. It'll allow Vex to get up to 5 rounds, put a lot of pressure on the next rifle from Infused, and of course, most teams will like to start on the CT side on Cobble, but I think everyone would pretty much agree that it is a slightly T-sided map. So Infused do need to have a pretty big T-side, I think, especially coming in this as the big underdogs. And there's Hyper.
Full house of frags, yeah, fill them with 3, Hyper with 2. And I agree. I think T-side definitely is the favourable side here, and Infused have that pressure on their shoulders, being only 2 rounds. And this is the reason why I said that quick turnaround in the first 3 rounds where they win the pistol, the 2 subsequent ones really hurts them in the long run, because that allows Vex to then build up this platform from which they can just get more and more. And now we're into that kind of position as well, where Infused in the previous round didn't really go for a full eco. So that's 2 effectively fairly weak rounds in a row. So this just builds up Vex even further, not just round-wise, but economy, which is such a vital part of the CT side.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk since IEM was basically just NA versus Europe tournament on the first day. And it was always the consensus that, you know, the North American team, whoever it was, just needed to start off these maps strong. And that's pretty much true in every underdog scenario, I would say. And Infused not having that strong start that they would want on a Cobble, and with only Zed and Crucial, it's not looking like much is going to happen in this round. It may be a bit costly for Vex, but shouldn't really drop it. Pete's gets low, but finds that kill, and now it's just Zed who will go down. Pete's through the boards with a USP, actually.
That could have got pretty rough for Vex, losing 2 players and the other 2 pretty low, but obviously the round win is all that counts there. Infused finally have themselves a fairly decent buy-up as Zeus was picked up for Neil, which... not fantastic. That could have been an extra grenade in his back pocket instead, so I'm not sure if that was just a misbuy or what's going on there. Typically, if you're going to use the Zeus, I don't know, I'm just kind of theory crafting on something that really isn't that important, but you'd use the Zeus on the CT side and just hold an angle. Using it on the T side, I always find is like a lot more difficult. So you're running around the corner just hoping...
This is actually pretty pointless.
Yeah, so I assume that was just a fat finger purchase or like a straight-up mistake. But that does equate to 1 less grenade, which could be all the difference. Infused. No early casualties for them, but you can already see that they've gone through a fair amount of their grenades already, and there's still a good minute and 10 seconds to play with.
Yeah, I don't even use the buy menus in this game. I just have bound everything to numpad and some other keys. And Zeus is not bound, because I am a respectable Counter-Strike player.
Good guy, Joey.
And Dota player.
Ooh. So they get the first frag onto platform, and no one is on B side whatsoever, as I think Kevin is trying to highlight right now by bringing up the map. You can see that everybody's on A side.
I'll draw for him.
Yeah. So
I should have drawn on the other color.
Of course, you can't necessarily kind of look down on Infused for not executing, because there's no way that they know no one's on B side. So it looks like this trap could very well work for the CT. Keeps his T and they both run by him. The spray comes in 1 and nearly a second as well. Zed will get finished off finally from Rallen, and at least Windansky, and the bomb's been dropped and there's only about 10 seconds. He can't clutch this round unless he gets both kills, and the CT simply will not allow that to happen. What a strange round of Counter-Strike this turned out to be.
Yeah, if Infused watch this back on either the demo or just the VOD, they will probably feel like punching themselves in the face.
So unfortunate.
One at B, you get you get the opening pick, and then you turn around and just walk back into a stack at A. That sucks.
I mean that is iron balls from VexedGaming though. We lost the first player on B. Let's just stack on A anyway, on the hope that they retake. And my God, that's next level. Ooh. But yeah, I think if Infused watch this back, they'll be face palming pretty hard.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, it was Windansky that was coming through B, so he maybe just needed to get more aggressive and push through that smoke to really plan to get that information for them. Because they got that first kill pretty early into the round, right? And then they didn't really spend any time getting information anywhere else. They kind of just transitioned into then let's all push A real quick. So, it wasn't just chance. I would say there was a little bit of a mistake made as well.
Yeah, true. They didn't really scout enough. They also smoked the platform twice, which stopped them from pushing, which is always a bit odd. Because if you get that first pick, typically you just want to explode onto the site. So
actually, did Vexed smoke it late round from CT spawn?
No, I think it was the T's. I feel like they got the entry, and then they smoked.
Because they're doing it now. Rallen's thrown the smoke that we saw a lot at San Jose, and even prior to that, really. But that will go down on the platform as Hypero gets there, or just Hyper gets there, so he can flash and push himself forward. And that flash was actually necessary, because Infused, it looked like they were just about to barrel through that smoke. And here's Grubby, he finds Red Snake and drop. Hyper, get him blown to bits.
I was going to say, how is he still alive? He 8 damage, then a 1 grenade came through, and he still survived on like 5 HP, and finally he was taken out. And the thing again, though, the smoke.
CSGO.
Yeah, just nade things. That smoke, though, really does just block the aggression from Infused. Ferlin is there.
Wow, Ferlin actually connected on 2 people. Trying to get that reload in, and Crucial's just too fast. That's up to Pete's and Grubby, who will probably just elect to save at this point in time.
Yeah, that's the smart player, I'd say. What's their economy actually looking like? They do have Rallen, who's on 11k, Hyper's on 9k, so I guess it depends if they want to roll the dice here.
Yeah, maybe it's expensive for Infused.
Yeah, I think they'll just kind of tap here and there, but the smart play is to just save. Like, yes, you've got money in the balance, but we know how quickly that can shift for the CTs if they lose a couple rounds in a row.
Oh, and Zed actually flanking, but now he's getting flanked. Who will flank the flankers? And I guess the answer is Pete's.
And no, the terrorist is going to be coming from along, so he's going to check. No one's home. He'll pull back and save. And Infused will finally get their third round on the board. Of course, Vex will be able to afford the next round, including an AWP if they so choose. Peaks, oh, there he gets picked off, and that's pretty brutal, actually. Not for this round, but going through into the longer game.
Oh, Furlan's really poor.
Damn.
But everyone else is like stacked.
Hyper with the auto sniper. I'm curious if he's going to take that on platform. Problem is, the last couple of rounds, Vex have been naded out on platform,
Nading it,
like
yeah.
pretty hard. So.
They can maybe do the boost.
Up onto the tree, do you mean? Or?
No, like back against the wall where you don't actually go on the long V platform, you just move behind it, and then you're behind a little wall, so nades actually can't hurt you.
Yeah. They may also just take more.
Or okay, statue through the 5-hole of the statue for all the hockey fans out there.
That's the thing, because they know so much emphasis has been put on platform. Why not just pull yourself back and just wait? Especially with an auto sniper, this weapon is crazy strong from these kind of angles.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for anyone with even an op or an AK to try to thread the needle and hit the headshot. Even spotting the player in the first place can be problematic. Meanwhile, Atero's just going to be mouse one held down. Grubby waiting here and drop. Terra's still pretty spread out right now. It's just Wendansky and Neil over at B, so it's definitely a more A-focused approach. I got 2 players working up into long A. They've actually taken a bit of control. Now Neil has been spotted. Wendansky and Neil both in drop. It looks like they're going to try to pinch on A. Oh, never mind. I thought they were going to try to go through drop connector and pinch onto A, but not the case. And Grubby, pretty fortunate to even get the first frag there, as the bomb now has shifted back to B into a 4-on-4 situation with just about 25 seconds to go.
I was going to say, that was quite greedy from Grubby. If he went out looking and gets fragged there, just goes, chasing too much. Things could get really rough, but they are anyway, because Hyper has to relocate back into KFC, as you refer to it as. And in doing so, he gets picked off. He had all the power of the auto sniper was taken off the table. Yep, big nade, and the bomb hasn't been planted. 5 seconds to go. They have to stick onto this one, and Vex know this. They are able to get a lot of real estate back onto this site right now. 2 versus 2. Zed is on 26. Crucial's pretty low as well. Roland is coming through the smoke, and he's going to go for the ninja defuse. He's holding it down. They're trying to knife, but he's still defusing this, and he's going to get it as well. What the hell did I just witness? That is a defuse. What?
That was awesome. It's God. Rowland just had the right idea, right? Pull out the knife. That's realistically gonna be your best option. And then he just completely starts lawnmowering the other way. Doesn't find anything, so he's smart enough. He turns around, actually connects with 3 left clicks. Why did he not get a right click in there after he had drawn blood a couple times?
There's so many questions, Joey.
Not enough answers. Oh, beautiful flash by Hyper. That was pretty sick. He threw it up, and then it started to arc as it just left the tree cover, and then it popped, as all pop flashes must. How funny would it be if flashes had a chance to not go off? So you
can throw some duds.
Like a 5% chance that it's a dud. Yeah.
Well, that would feel pretty rough. $200 for nothing. Thanks a lot.
Oh wait, the fingers in Hearthstone. Never mind.
Yeah. This is random HC or a Molotov. All you hear is a.
That'd be really funny if it was just a mode, like an April Fool's mode, like April 1st only.
Yeah.
You have that mode, which could be awkward since the next major is going to be played on April 1st, right?
Is it?
I think it ends on the 2nd, so there has to be games on the 1st.
Oh, damn.
But I think the semifinals are on the 1st. That would be quite a patch.
Well, some people would already argue that there's plenty of RNG when it comes to Deagles.
I would argue that there is seemingly a bit. I mean, there always was. I don't know if there is really more now, but it feels like there is. Or I'm just saltier as I've got older. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty salty when it comes to Deagle. What a round this has been.
Yeah, nice
Infused,
though.
Neil with
or
3
actually
kills.
Neil, we should say.
And a 4th. He's on for the ace here.
It's gonna be tough. I mean, he's gonna try. He's got the right idea. He's throwing up that flash that has connected on Rowland. They still don't really know he's here. Neil's gonna go for it. Oh no, he's not. Cold feet. Oh, warm feet. Cold feet. There's another flash. Come on, Neil. Come on, Neil. No. Not working out. Has the nade in hand as he goes through the, what do we want to call that? Colonnade? Can I call it a colonnade? Really not quite correct, but...
I'm still face palming at that ninja defuse.
Yeah, that was sick. I'm glad that I witnessed that.
Well, I think the simple case is that Infused have to win this round and then the pistol. Otherwise, this is going away Vex. We've already discussed that T side, probably the favourable of the sides here on Cobblestone. Vex in a commanding position. So these next 2 rounds are absolutely vital to Infused if they want to have any kind of a chance at a comeback. So here's the first one. It's going to be against an MP9 and a UMP, so not the greatest of weaponry here for Vex, and this could force them into a super aggressive play. See a couple decoys have been thrown down as well, just try and screw with the terrorists, keep them caught in a couple different mines, but Peter's up on the boost and he is going to get that first kill for free. Red Snake just peeks out, no flashes, smokes, nothing from the terrorists, and it's not a case that they're on a kind of a bargain buy here. They had full grenades to play with. Pete gets the second frag, he finally gets taken down from the long push. But VexedGaming are taking Infused to the distance once more. Neil with a pretty crucial kill there on the site. 2 kills for him. He seems to be waking up these last few rounds. His entry frags have been on point.
He was even up there on frags in the first map Mirage. And there it is. I mean, that's a nice little bounce back, right? Take some momentum at least over into the second half. I mean, 5 on the T side doesn't seem like enough as the underdog up against Vex, who I can only imagine are going to be pretty terrifying moving over onto their T side.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, Infused are just putting all their eggs in this pistol, you know, in this pistol basket, if you will. They need this pistol so basket. Desperately. It made no sense, I know, but we'll just deal with it.
It's given me a very weird imagery of the Easter Bunny just carrying a pistol basket instead of a basket of eggs.
There's probably
Which, I mean, a basket of pistols would make about as much sense as a basket of eggs anyways.
True.
Easter makes no sense. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Can't disagree. I don't even know where the whole concept of the Easter Bunny came from.
I'm sure pagan religions, like, guaranteed.
Yeah. Probably from there.
Did Red Snake turn on the stream? It's like only banter.
Gamers take things very serious.
Yo, don't flame me, Red Snake. I think they're talking about themselves. Oh yeah, I'm just trolling. Thought they were calling us out. I'm like, whoa.
Whoa, dude,
we certainly have more power to call out players than players have to call out us, right? Like, we're on the mic a lot more. They've got all chat, I suppose, and probably more fans than we do.
I think that's almost guaranteed. But Infused now, it's back to business for them. They need to get the focus back into the game. This is a must-win round. If they lose this, Vex could be on the brink of taking a 13-5 lead, which on Cobblestone T side, probably a bridge too far for Infused. So the frags need to come in. Neil M, very unfortunate. On my screen there, I feel like one of those shots was a headshot. With the USP, that would be an insta-kill pistol round. So a bit of a head-scratching moment. Red Snake is now going to be doing the damage as they all funnel out one by one out of the drop zone. Frag does get retaliated on though. VexedGaming have picked up 2. Zed is going to answer back, and a second as well. He can't get much else done, but look at that where that bomb's dropped. Not a great position from the terrorist perspective. Now Hyper finds himself in a 1v2. The only saving grace is the CTs, pardon me, probably don't know which angle he's coming from, so he could get the drop on Crucial.
And he does exactly that, but it's a Glock. So Crucial is still alive. Hyper, I mean, he walked through A. He's got to have some suspicion that it's clear. I mean, he doesn't know for sure exactly where Wendansky is. As you can see, he's still looking around. But whether he wins the round or not, it should be a plant. And we already talked quite a bit about what a plant means going into the 3rd round. And still a chance here. I mean, if Crucial can get a 4K to win the pistol round for Infused in the first half, I mean, Hyper can probably finish it with 2. And it's going to be exactly that. Gets them both down through the doors. There is no safe way to enter that A site from that side. You're either going through the door or the murder hole. I guess balcony's probably your best bet.
Oh dear. Infused. Oh dear. I wonder what this pause is for.
Yeah, it actually came out when like the first kill from Infused happened. Furlan, or as soon as Furlan died, he paused. And I'm not exactly sure why. I thought maybe someone had lagged out, but obviously Hyper was still there. when it came down to the 2-on-2 situation. But that hurts to
Interesting.
lose. And that happened in the second on Mirage as well. Infused like needed the pistol to kind of catch back up, and they lost the pistol and pretty much got shut out from that point on, getting only 1 round in the second half, I think it was.
Yeah. The other problem as well, okay, the problem with loss is the issue for Vexed. So that's why they paused the game. But I suppose the other issue as well that Infused got, I think you said the stat at the time was only 2 rifle rounds on Mirage.
Yeah, two or three.
Yeah, and whereas they've got more here on Cobblestone, they're on the T side, so you're expecting that. If you get a couple of entries, like typically the round should go your way. So when the roles are reversed and they're on the CT side, this could be a real issue for them again. If their rifle rounds aren't up to scratch, they will just get steamrolled. I'm calling it right now. So I hope, from a neutral's perspective and wanting to see close Counter-Strike, that Infused can start to find some form. CEVO-M has shown that he's been kind of finding some kind of godlike performance, so let's hope he can take that through onto the CT side as well. The main story for me, though, is that Pete hasn't been using the AWP whatsoever today.
Yeah, it's been weird.
From what I've seen, so that in itself is quite alarming, not necessarily in a bad way, because he's still been performing when it's the assault rifles have came out for him.
So that was your neutral point of view. What's your UK CSGO scene bias point of view?
Hope they all get wrecked.
Wait. Who? Infused gets wrecked?
Yeah.
Nice.
No, that's like the UK way, though.
Why is our UK scene not good? God, I hope these UK teams lose. They're so bad.
Exactly, yeah, that's it. Because the UK players hate each other pretty much. Hate's probably quite a strong word.
Yeah, it's probably strong, but...
there's a lot of sour feelings.
Strong opinions of other players. Opinions.
That's just kind of like the British
I kind of think that's
way,
what holds North America back as well.
Yeah, I've heard.
I say that more from a Dota
US
perspective. Although that has since turned around, man. Western Dota is on the rise. Also, Dota's a little different because it was always the West versus China, whereas CS was like strictly NA versus EU.
Yeah. It's weird, though, because the UK scene needs to be pretty strong in Counter-Strike Source 1.6 days as well, so it surprises me that there hasn't been a
Henry G
transition.
likes to remind us of that.
Mm-hmm. But to be fair, like at one point, UK scene was pretty solid, so I'm not sure what's happened, because it's pretty much the same issues we have now we had back then, but yet somehow people are able to persevere through that, so I don't know. Infused, do the UK proud. Let's go. Take us to a third map.
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, speaking of Henry G, it's his team that seems to be holding the torch right now for the UK scene, right? Easy Skins?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think undoubtedly the best UK team right now in the scene. Infused, I would say a top 5. I think you've got Choke Gaming.
Who have the coolest logo in all of esports.
Indeed.
Throw that out there. I can't think of any more. Choke was the only other one that I was going to be able to bring up. And it looks like we might not have to, because the on-pause has come in now. Hopefully the net issues have been resolved. Loss doesn't necessarily equate higher ping, but oftentimes they coincide, and I don't see anyone lagging their ass off, so I think that's a good sign. 3 Mac 10. We got the 2 scouts, Red Snake and Zed with those. 5-7 and a CZ there in the middle, as Furlan has already worked onto the B platform when Dansky creeping along that broken wall there. And let's see, Furlan will find him, but when Dansky gets the one shot because of close range to the face, crucial long range finds a kill onto Rowland. But Hypro is helping out. He brings down Pete. So instead of a 3-on-3, VexedGaming are left with a 2 versus 3, but it is a post-plant situation, so maybe call it even, but no. Neil comes through with the CZ, takes down Hyper. All grubby with the Galil, finds a shadow, then the player lands that shot, can't quite control the spray at range. Neil with the AK wins out. There it is, Infused, finding a round.
Yeah, very impressive round at that as well. And again, it was Neil. Neil getting the frags where it counts. Moves himself onto 13 for 14, but has 6 assists, so he has been consistently putting down the damage for the rest of his team to capitalise on, and that's huge. That forces Vex now into potential force buy. They may very well go for the force buy here with Tech 9 armors because they know that Infused economy is not good.
Yeah, and a bit of a round buffer.
Yep, absolutely. So
It doesn't surprise me, and I actually like this decision from VexedGaming. I personally would have gone for the same decision had I been in their position, so let's see if this pays off. Plus the fact that the rifle rounds haven't been convincing from Infused. There's a lot of reasons to go for this, I would say, for Vexed.
Yeah, and while this might be a bit subjective in just my opinion, Cobble's like the one map where I'm still really, really scared of terrorist force buys. Whereas since the SMG patch came out, it's usually the CT force buys I'm only scared of.
Well, the thing is, because drop zone is such an integral part of the map, and that's where Tech 9s can still do a lot of damage at close range, you always have to be very wary from a CT's perspective in these kind of situations. The question is, though, do they know the information? Well, I think now they will, as they see so many grenades used. They know this has been an invested round.
On tree.
I don't think they did.
And it's Helium
head behind there.
He's been the playmaker for this team. He still hasn't even fired yet. And there he goes. He gets one. Wadansky will fall. Grubby trying to take someone off the tree and then trying to fall back in the smoke, but Zed will connect. Eagle for Rallin, unable to draw too much blood. Hyper almost with a double spray down. But the round is won again by Infused. Still somewhat costly, so the force buys from Vex keeping that money in check a little bit. But Vex might have to calm down on their spending habits and take a full eco. Or maybe not. I mean, they got the bomb down. Let's see. Oh, yeah. They can actually just buy.
I was going to say, they have a decision to make now because, again, not only do they get a couple kills, well, 3 kills in total, so that hurts Infused economy, but they get the bomb planted as well, so they can force up. It's going to include 3 Galils with a lack of grenades, but, again, it's like that economic game of chicken, right, where who's going to budge first, who's going to blink first? If Vex lose this, it's going to be them, like, no doubts. If Infused lose this round, though, they are screwed, basically, so... a pressure cooker round for both teams. Again, though, are Infused going to assume this force bias came in? The fact they can hear Hyper's Galil rattling out pretty much is going to seal the deal. It's going to telegraph this play now, and they should react accordingly. Don't go aggressive, just sit back, wait. You know you have the likelihood, the weapon advantage is in your favor. Goes for that good old fake flash.
Yeah, I assume that was a fake flash, or but maybe he was just trying to make like some noise. I don't know. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Well... That's an excusable TK, right? Because he's kind of going in there, putting 2 bodies forward. You're expecting to come out with a 4-on-4, so the fact that he kills his teammates, like, kind of whatever. Obviously not ideal, but that's what happens when you try to double peek a tight angle like that.
Yeah, it's always awkward. Neelam pretty much sealing this round up. 4-on-3 is doable. You slam 1 headshot, suddenly things change in your favor. He didn't expect Grubby to have pushed up that much, though. Smoke has landed. Red Snake goes for the taps, lands it, but he eats damage as well. And maybe I wrote off VexedGaming too soon. I felt like this should be the CTs convincingly, and maybe it still will be. As Beats goes for the spray down, there's the second player, though, pops up. It's going to be Zed. And Infused pick up their 8th round. Again, though, 3 players taken down, but this should be Vex tapping out of this situation now and just saving. There's no point forcing in this kind of scenario.
I mean, honestly, there still kind of is. Infused would have to save if they lost a round.
The thing is, though, that Vex still have a round buffer, and for me, it's too much of a risk to force play here.
That's true.
Because then you're in a position where you can probably rummage together Galils again, but then you've lost your advantage. So yeah, I like this play from Vex. Yes, they're likely going to lose this round, but then
that nade
next. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, nice. The nade! But then I guess the nade smoke was there, interfering a little bit with Zed's line of sight, and he actually hardly landed any shots afterwards. So it doesn't matter. Crucial going to make up for it. Finds 2.5 kills, gets an assist onto Pete when Dansky brought down that frag, but. This is actually disastrous. Infused, like you said, like there's that round buffer. You're kind of giving up now, so Vex doesn't want to force buy here. And Fused, I mentioned their money's still low, and look how many players they've lost. This will continue to keep their money really, really low. Honestly, Vex might be able to buy more in the next round than Infused.
Yep. No, they will. If they win this round, they absolutely will. Because they'll have the round loss sort of coming in, plus the fact that they haven't put anything into this round. So they'll be looking at like 4 to 5k apiece. But Infused aren't out of this round just yet. Regardless, it has been a great eco for VexedGaming. The issue now is, as I said, it's an eco. So neither of their players, although they have M4s, they do not have armor. So aim punch is going to be a real thing they have to factor in. The bomb is now moving onto A, is about to get planted. Neither CT wanted to budge. In actual fact, they split up and had a player go to B side, which is very odd.
Yeah, well, Vex, I don't think Infused spotted that the bomb was down or spotted Rallin with it. So Vex basically just sat motionless for 20-30 seconds, and that forced Infused to split up.
So next level mind games then. Rollins by himself for now. Hyper just doesn't help him whatsoever.
Oh my gosh,
Second
Hyper!
kill! I'm sorry to say it, but that
Timing
second
is
kill
everything.
was pure luck.
Yeah,
He
that is
didn't know.
pure luck. No inhuman reactions, no Unreal. That was just pure coincidence, and Hyper has got to have a grin across his face.
You saw by the way he reacted. He like looked at the floor and was like, "Wait, what? What just happened? I won the round? Okay,
Like, what? Vac? Uh-oh, Vac, is this being streamed?
I'm going on vacation. What?
I hear
So, yeah,
California
that
is
was-
nice.
That was massive, and there's no. I'm sorry, but there's no excuses for Infused. You're against P250s in that round, and you lose. That's unforgivable.
Yeah, well, apparently the universe is conspiring against Infused, so, I mean, I guess your buy doesn't even matter at that point. Oh,
That's
that
so low with that
crucial.
grenade, though. I don't know how they lose from that point. Rip. 13-8.
Why did he look up?
That's a good question.
Was he trying to, like, keep his,
Maybe
like,
I'm
focus
giving
on
him,
the object? I don't know. I'm not even going to try to analyze that.
maybe I'm giving him too much credit here, but I feel it could be the case of his gun not sticking out the smoke before he gets
Oh,
through.
yeah, you might be right. But it was, I mean, he had a P250. Does
Yeah.
it, like, barely alerts anyone
Maybe
of your
I'm like
presence.
so overanalyzing.
No, I
that,
think
and
you're
he
right.
just-
I think you're dead on, actually.
So he didn't want to alert the presence to the T's before he gets
Yeah.
through the smoke. But as you say, like it's a P250, it's not going to stick out that far, and it's not like it helped anyway. I guess he's kind of in a hopeless situation regardless. So here we go, Infused over.
I like it.
doors.
That's actually a really good idea, though.
Yeah,
like, for
other
any gun.
situations. Yeah, absolutely. It's the mechanics of the game that can really hurt you.
It wouldn't have worked pre-patch, though.
Yeah.
Because now with the new view models, you can actually aim at a full 90 degrees. Before, it was always at like a 45, even if you were looking straight up. So your gun would still stick through. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I've learned something.
Problem is that Infused just got battered in that round off a force.
Yeah,
fight,
they did.
So
And they're broke.
completely broke.
And it's... Oh, this is so awkward. I mean, this is your either buy to win or save to tie scenario when the enemy team has 14. And if... I mean, if... Pretty much if they go for either, they're not really going to have a good last round.
Yeah, kind of playing for the overtime here. Which
So they will save the tie.
I guess I can get behind because it's a really bad position whichever way you look at it, but a lot of pressure now. Windansky with 1, but that's all he's going to get for his troubles, and as expected, the CT defense about to collapse. It is imminent. VexedGaming will get over to the site. Now the question really is, can Infused win 7 rounds back-to-back after this one to take us into overtime? It's not looking likely. I don't think their buy is going to be particularly fantastic either way. You know, maybe a couple of players around the 5k mark. Okay, so it's actually better than I originally
Yeah,
thought.
better than I thought, too.
But it's still going to be no ups in play unless they go for a glass cannon. I don't think that's worth on a map like Cobblestone, but they're going to go for it. Red Snake picks it up for himself. They go for 2. What the hell do I know?
I mean, this is going to be so hard, though. Not only will they have to string rounds together, they're going to have to, like, keep a lot of people alive to build up their money. I mean, I guess they can't even afford losing a round, because that would drop the map, but they're going to need to be able to get as much money to have full buys in every round to make their comeback easier. And it all starts here. Zed getting the first kill onto Grubby. Crucial now going to, I think, smartly fall back, but, oh, no cover, but it doesn't matter. Turns takes the fight. Now he might as well fight again, because there's no getting out of there. Hyper takes him, but Infused with a 4-on-3 here in a must-win position for the Brits.
The reason why I didn't like that double AWP pickup with glass cannon is because typically Vexed have been getting onto sites with a lot of smoke, and that's like the counter to AWPs, especially when you consider they haven't been too scared to tap through the smoke as well, so you can easily pick up frags here or there on non-armored up opponents. The problem is, though, that Zed just walks out of, I think it was long maybe, and just gets
Yeah, it
the
must
first
have been.
frag. So as soon as he lands that first frag, the parameters of the round shift well and truly on their head, and now Infused are looking good. The problem is, though, they've lost another player. And even if they win this round, they have to start winning rounds, keeping 2 or 3 players alive in each of them. Zed,
Not a place you really want the op, but I don't know why he's planting without clearing. It's not like time is very low, and now it all comes down to the 1 versus 1. Rallin on the site gets the bomb. Oh, and Red Snake hitting quite a nice shot as Rallin was trying to strafe jump over to the default plant.
Thing is, though, Joey, they win the round, but they only kept 1 player alive. So look at that economy again. So even though they just won, and you're thinking, brilliant, you know, well done, Infused, they're going to have less equipment value by far.
Yeah, it's going to be hard.
a Mag 7, P90. It's still doable. Mag 7's not trash in this map, not by any stretch of the imagination. You can run that in drop zone. You can
Still
go along
always
with it
trash
as well.
if you're forced to rotate, though.
Exactly, that's the thing. You have to hold positions, you have to rely on the rest of your team to lock down their places, and you only have one defuse kit, and that smoke misses from Red Snake. That's going to help the terrorists so much. Here's Neil, though. Looks like he could get the upper hand.
Farming Simulator 2015, but the farmer was blind in that simulation, so that didn't work out very well.
Yep, and that's on Crucial. Can he pull off the second spot?
Saul leg. Piper as it dropped down. Now he's going to be forced to... Actually gets hit with an 8 on the way through. Doesn't even make it through. That time, the gun was definitely seen by those terrorists coming through the smoke. So, what was that? 16-7 on Mirage with Vexed taking it. And then 16-9 here on Cobble. So, pretty much a dominant 2-0 here by Vexed, as we would expect.
Expect was that? Nice.
Sorry.
Was that meant to be a part?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'll give you a 3 out of 10.
I thought the inflection was there. Maybe I didn't put enough.
It was good. Better than my
I
pole
can
position.
English Metuz. Don't doubt me.
Well, I think that's probably the result that we were expecting.
I aren't think that Metuz.
You aren't think that, really? You expected Infused?
No, I lied.
I mean, it could have been a lot worse, especially on Mirage. We already discussed this. Infused had a 5-0 lead, and then they ended up losing.
Yeah, Mirage could have been like
16-7.
16-2 or 16-3.
Yeah, so that could have been a blowout if they didn't win the pistol. Cobblestone had moments here and there. They started on T side. A couple times they went for force buys, which I wasn't completely convinced by. I think that definitely hurt them, but they were comprehensively outplayed. I think it's safe to say. You can't put... Well, they lost because they force bought a couple too many times. Well, they still got entry.
And one of their rounds, one of Infused rounds was that ridiculous defuse, right? Or am I wrong? Was it the other way around?
No, Vexed got the defuse, yeah.
It was... Are you sure?
Right.
I thought it was Rowland that had the op. And was slicing his knife.
Now you're making me
I don't know.
doubt myself.
Gosh. Well, that was in the first half, right?
Yes.
Who had...
So
Yeah, Infused. It was Infused that got the defuse, because it was Rowland that was slicing the knife. So that was... Right?
I have no idea.
Or was
I
it
have
in
the
the
memory of the
second
goldfish.
Oh, I'm looking at Mirage. I'm like, these rounds don't make sense. Yeah, it was round 12. That's how that was the only defuse of the half for Vex. They got that ninja defuse. They got a round after that. No. All right, I don't know. I'm so confused
right
now. This was such a mistake. Never go deeper. Never go deeper.
Kappa.
Yeah. Okay, so it was Vex that got the ninja defuse then.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I feel like that was one of the moments
Because that was like the only defuse in the game.
Were Infused. I mean, if they weren't already feeling bad enough after losing Mirage, that's probably a moment where you just go like full tilt mode.
So it must have been crucial there with the op then, slicing and dicing. All right. And it was, I guess, was it Rowland that went in for the defuse then? Bomb defusal 1, Rowland. Yes, so Rowland was the one that got the defuse. So at least I had the player that was involved in the situation correct. I just had the entire situation incorrect. Which is a start. You know, it's better than usual. I'm usually 0 for 2. At least I was 1 for 1 in this case. But that's all we've got, guys, for European action today. That's VexedGaming winning over Infused. So Infused is out of it. We look forward to seeing them next time in CEVO-M. Vexed will move on to face Team Orglis, the Hungarian squad, which has looked pretty difficult to play against. And then awaiting that further on in the lower bracket is Publicler, who I think Launders picked to win the tournament. You went with Vexed, and I went with Torpedo, who have lost to LDLC White. So I'm wrong. You guys are still in it to win it. And unless you've got anything else to say, Metuz, I think that's going to conclude our broadcast today for Europe.
I think that's all. I think better team won. Do I think Vex could go distance? Absolutely, but they had to get more consistency, man, because they have not been particularly impressive. I think it's safe to say over the last few months.
All right, and we got North America coming up tonight, so make sure to follow the channel, mlg.tv/playcevo, and you can follow myself at Heliumbrella on Twitter, and of course at Metuz to find out when we're casting. And I think I'm doing the NA Finals tonight as well, so follow up and you'll know when those are coming at you. So until next time, peace. Peace.